Hello everyone, how you doing? You're very welcome to this week's Roscommon LGFA with myself, Aidan Raftery, and of course, as always, we have Ellen Hynes from Roscommon, the acting PRO for Roscommon LGFA. Hello, how are you, Ellen? How's things?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
That's good. That's good. Not too bad. No, not too bad. The weather's improving anyway, which is great. So I suppose there's a lot to report on. I suppose really from on the back of what we were talking about last week. But I suppose the great focus is I suppose on the results and fixtures in adult football.
Yeah, so we've got some amazing scores coming into us over the first round of the adult championship, and we're looking forward to continuing to, getting a chance to see these great scores and these teams, really showing up onto the pitch. So if we'd like to start, we can have a look at the senior from last week.
Yep.
Clan na Gael played Shannon Gales. Clan won 5-13 to 2 points. I mean, that's a score difference of 26 points. Amazing from Clan as always. They really put a lot out onto the pitch when they go out. We have Boyle 7-25 over Kilglass Kilmore, 3 points. We have Kilbride 11-13 to Bridget's 4-7. And St. Dominic's had a bye last week. So, I mean, what can you say? But some fantastic scores coming in from the first round of the championship. Really high scores from Clan, from Boyle, from Kilbride. So it's great to see, Boyle only coming up from intermediate last year. So they're really putting their mark on the first round, and it'll be very interesting to see how they get on as the championship continues. So then this week on the 25th of August at 7 o'clock, the senior championship round 2 will continue with Kilbride playing Kilglass Kilmore. Boyle will take on Shannon Gales, St. Bridget's take on St. Dominic's, and Clan na Gael have a bye.
That's it. And I suppose really last weekend, as we know, last Friday and Saturday, well, Friday night, Friday evening, there was a severe storm. I know it affected a number of men's games. Roscommon Gales versus Roscommon Gales versus Western Gales in Lisnamult was severely affected. Obviously, it didn't rain in the first half, but it was a deluge in the second half, and maybe a lot of people were saying it should have been abandoned at half time, or at least 10 minutes into the second half, because when it gets like that bad, the pitch isn't in great condition, more likely for people to get injured as well. But that game ended 5-5, 5 points apiece. So that's kind of at the end of the group stages will affect it, because I think everyone is everyone can either make it out or not make it out of the group, which in one way makes it interesting. But if you're one of those teams, it's frustrating. It'll be the same. It'll be the same in the ladies if that was the case. But I suppose for the ladies' games, the ones you're just after mentioning, what were the pitches like? Because I know there would have been a lot of flooding on Saturday for any games that were on Saturday.
Well, I think majority of these games took place on Friday and Sunday.
Right.
So it was like, there was a storm, and I know ourselves played in it as well with Four Oaks. We played St. Mary's Tusk, which I'll get into later. But from playing in these matches and in these weather conditions, there is some brilliant scores, and it's just a tribute to the girls and the work that they put in. For like, I can't speak for anyone but ourselves, because I unfortunately I couldn't get to go to all of these games. They're all on at the same time. But yeah, the weather definitely would have played a substantial part in it. Rain, hail, sleet, snow, sunshine, it does always. It is a factor that you have to look into for these matches. So I'm sure that, all these teams really put it up against each other, as well as put it up against the weather.
And I suppose really the only other option would have been, if it is available, would have been Beacon. I suppose where you can play the games indoors. That's the only other solution. But apart from that, depending on the I suppose on the schedule, if a game is cancelled, is it a case that it's able to put if you cancel a game, that it can be fitted in somewhere else in the schedule, especially with it being so early on, where else later on in the championship, or is there a date that it can be fitted in? But as let's hope anyway that doesn't happen either in the men's or the ladies' football, either at the adult, intermediate, or senior, or the senior, intermediate, or junior, I should say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the fixtures committee, they're absolutely brilliant. They do, take things into account, and I'm sure that they've got plenty of, spare, we'll call them spare days for those sort of instances where games are cancelled, or, teams can't play on a particular day. So, they really work hard to make sure that everyone is accommodated. And yes, I'm sure there's plenty of days to follow now, where games can be rescheduled if for any reason that they are cancelled or postponed.
Yeah, that's good, because that's needed, and maybe yes, and I think a lot of the grades, both in the men's and the women's, or whatever, or the ladies, I think it is factored into the championship that if a game is called off, that it can be played, and I think both county boards can be commended for that. And yeah, so I suppose that takes us on to the intermediates. Then it's always a very interesting, and the junior as well. Two other very interesting grades as well, both for the results and fixtures.
Yeah, definitely. So again, with the intermediates, there was some great scores coming out. So St. Kieran's played Castlereagh. They won 10-14 to 4 points. That is a substantial difference of 40 points between them. But as you know, St. Kieran's is a very strong team who've just been incredibly unlucky not to have come up from intermediate in the last number of years.
Yeah.
As well as that, St. Crown's played Ayr Oak. The score was 2-9 to 1 points in favour of Ayr Oak. And Barry's also played Western Gales. St. Barry's won 4-11 to 3-4. So, again, we've got some brilliant scores. Between St. Kieran's 10-14, that's a great scoreline to have gotten over Castlereagh, and Castlereagh are very strong as well. So, maybe the weather did play a part in that. But again, looking forward to seeing the intermediates continue. This week, also Friday the 25th at 7 o'clock, St. Kieran's will play Ayr Oak, Castlereagh will play St. Barry's, and Western Gales will play St. Crown's. So, St. Crown's as well, they are after coming up into intermediate, so they're just finding their feet within the groups. So it'll be very interesting to see how they continue on in the year. Like I said, St. Kieran's, they've been in and around the finals over the last number of years. I know last year they played Boyle in the final. It was a very interesting match to watch. So, I would say they're the team to be looking at maybe at the moment. It's my own personal opinion. But like I said, they're always up and around the finals and semi-finals. So again, another interesting group to keep an eye on.
That's it. That's great, and that's very good to see as well. And the championship really is throwing up some very good, some very interesting, and the score differences could be would be very high, which is great. And I suppose supporters are getting their value for money with all the great scores that have been going on, and it's not over yet. It's not over yet. And I suppose, especially with the senior, like a number of times himself and say Ray Lannon would have watched, we say, Kilbride and Cannegale playing and all that, and they are exceptional. They have exceptional players as well. And it's just great to see. It's just great to see the level it's at as well. But so just moving on to the underage level, there's some under-16 finals to take place as well.
Yes, so we've got plenty of under-16 finals. One has taken place, I think it was Tuesday of this week. St. Paulia's played Kilmorca Glass. St. Paulia's came out with a victory in the Division 3B final, 4-8 to 1-11. So congratulations to them and commiserations to Kilmorca Glass. As well as that, we have plenty more finals. Division 1A, St. Dominic's v Porg Pierces will take place in Kiltoom at 7 o'clock on the 28th of August. Division 1B final will be played in Elphin on the 31st of August. St. Barry's will take on Boyle. 2A final, between St. Crohn's and Oran will be on the 25th of August in Enfield at 6 p.m. And the 2B final will be between St. Michael's, St. Ronan's and Northern Harps. That will be played in Croghan on the 29th at 7 p.m. And lastly, the 3A final will be played on the 25th of August in Elphin at 7 p.m. Michael Glavies will take on St. Mary's Tulse. So, very exciting time for the under-16s to, back finishing their championship campaign over the next week or two. So we're looking forward to the results from that and seeing how the teams get on.
That's it, and it's also like the future of ladies football in the county as well. So anyone that likes to kind of see what players are coming through, these are the games to go to. But I suppose I just read in the paper there the other day. 4 roads were doing a blitz, or the matches in the Beacon the other day or last week. It's always great to say, and you were saying you were involved yourself as well.
Yes, so for say our adult junior team, we played St. Mary's Tulsk. Our score was 4-3 to 110. As well as that, in our division, St. Paulius played Clonagale. Clon won 1-9 to 1-8. Some good scores from the Junior A and Junior C as well. Oran played Port Pierce's 2-9 to 3-4. Michael Glavies and Strokestown got postponed, and Northern Harps had a bye in the Junior A competition, as well as Junior C. St. Michael, St. Ronan's played, St. Kieran's conceded to St. Michael, St. Ronan's, and Roscommon Gales bet Aerogue for 15 to 1 goal. And then in the Junior C Group B, St. Sean and Gales conceded to St. Dominic's, and Kilbride had a bye. So, they're also, between all the junior groups, there's plenty of matches coming up as well over the next 2 weeks. So again, looking forward to it. 4 Roads, who I'm involved with, we'll be playing St. Folia's the 8th of September. So, we'll be looking forward to getting out again. We have a very strong group that we're in, and, we're looking forward to having plenty of football.
That's it, and of course that keeps you sharper as well, and I suppose that's the way it is this year in the championship so far. But just for kind of reflecting over the early stages of the championship so far, what's your impression of the championship? There's some very high quality games. I know, like the score lines make them sound impressive in itself, but actually just to see the ones that you have seen, and it's great to see where I suppose the ladies' game at club level in Roscommon has come from, where it started and where it is now.
I mean, what can you say? But all really is down to the girls and the work that they put in for their clubs. I mean, like, we can, Clan and Kilbride, 2 top teams that are battling out over the number of years, coming up with some great scores. Like I said, Boyle coming up from intermediate, great score against Kilglass Kilmore. It'll be good now to see St. Dominic's come into the fold this week in the senior competition. Looking forward, to seeing how the senior plays out. I think all the divisions between senior, intermediate, and all the junior competitions, it's so important for everyone to get the game time that they deserve, whether it be senior or junior or intermediate. I mean, all the clubs put in a great effort to have 15 players or so on the pitch, and it's really showing so far. With these scores, the various scores and the score difference between all the age groups, it's showing the clubs that are putting in extreme effort, to keep coming out on top. As well as that, the teams that are coming out with, lower scores, we also have to be mindful. Again, the weather was absolutely horrendous over the weekend.
When you consider the time of year, like, it's the weather we're getting sometimes.
It's the first round of the championship. We haven't played for the last number of months. The girls weren't getting games unless they had challenges themselves. But yeah, so we have to get back into the routine of the 60 minutes for the match. So it'll be very interesting over the next few weeks to see all the teams sort of come into their own. Like I said, I think it was last week, I really like it's way too early to be able to call who's going to be in the final because, like I said last week, all the teams are competitive. They show up, they do their best, and they really fight for every game they play. So it'd be very interesting championship.
And I think as well as that, like for the championship as well, what's starting to make it interesting is it's starting to not be the kind of the usual two at we say in senior, the same at intermediate, the same at junior. It is actually in each of those grades, it is actually starting to even out where we say the teams that mightn't have been as competitive over the last couple of years, they really are sticking into it now, and they are like giving the clans and the Kilbrides and the St. Kieran's and all that and the St. Barry's of this world, they really are competing and causing these teams problems, which is great, and that makes it more of an interesting championship as well.
Yeah, I 100% agree, but that's solely down to the effort of the girls and their management and the work they put in. So, you can only credit the teams for their own the victories isn't the word I'm looking for, but for showing up, for doing the work, for playing the matches, for getting these scores. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant to see. Like you said, and I think I said it last week as well in my own group, we're all very well matched. And like it makes it way, I won't say way more interesting, but extremely interesting, because it's so tight for the next few weeks. It's going to be I can't say interesting again in this in this interview, but it's going to be very, very close.
That's it, and it's for the players. It's good for the players as well, and the management as well. Everyone between the players and the players, the management and the supporters, and of course, the county board and all that. It's a testament to all involved, and it's great to see it. And of course, there's the summer is early yet as regards the championship so far. So there's plenty of good football to come, and then I suppose at adult level, then there's there's the provincial ones, but it's way too early to be talking about that, and so plenty for supporters and I suppose pundits and media to look forward to over the coming months, and that's great. So listen, thanks very much for taking the time out to do Roscommon LGFA with us, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Thanks for having me again.
No problem. Thanks very much. And that was Ellen Hynes, the acting PRO for Roscommon LGFA.